I'm afraid I may have some bad news for you. We may be about to lose one of our little friends.
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened.
I have next to me my second ZX81 sat on the operating table. This had begun with just a simple composite mod, which I've done before. I thought I'd video it because the composite mod on this one's just a little bit different, and unfortunately there were other things amiss too. So I'm filming this after I know all this. I'll take you through the composite mod and then we'll start to find out really where the problems lie. So I've connected this up to the display here, and sadly the screen's completely black again. There's just absolutely nothing on the screen when I've connected it up. There's no point showing you it because there's just simply nothing there. I think this might, I don't know if I said on the introduction, but when I've tried testing this machine on display previously, there was nothing there again, so I think this machine might have some further faults, but just to make sure, I just thought I'd test the connection, make sure that the wires are actually good. So it's powered on at the moment, so I should be seeing, if I set to voltage even, I should be seeing 5 volts coming in there, which I am, and I should be getting an earth on that. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's good. I'll just check continuity on this one here. Yeah, I'll just check continuity on this wire. Yeah, so unless this unit is faulty, which I don't think it will be, I have no reason to believe so at this time. I do think there is another fault on the machine, and I don't think I need the keyboard connected for the machine to work. And everything's heating up there. I'll have to have a little bit more of a read up on this. Let's just see if I've got 5 volts on the transistor, but I thought I would. Oh, let's set it to voltage. Yeah, I've got it the other way around. Swap it around. Yeah, I've got 5 volts coming in there. In fact, while I'm here, I'll just check that I don't have a short on any of these transistors. So just checking the ULA, which is this one here, which I suspect may be involved in the problem, is responsible for the display and a few other bits and pieces. The top pin should be 7 volts. If I just 7 volts, the top pin should be 5 volts. Top right hand pin, which it is as near as damn it. and pin 7 going down here, not actually pin 7, but the 7th pin down on the right hand side should be ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so looking at the ULA, I don't have a scope. I can't check any of the outputs further than that, really. So quick look around the rest of the board. So I thought the other thing I'd check is if there's power to the CPU and ground, which I'm sure there will be, which I think it's pin 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that should be 5 volts, which it is. And then ground's pin 29. Yeah, so that's a 5 volt and ground checked on the CPU. I don't know there's much else I can test on that without an oscilloscope. The capacitors look okay. People do recommend changing them, but I think that's Lisa Moore's at the moment. Probably think about doing it at some point. And as far as I can tell, the transistors seem to be okay, but people recommend changing those as well. I might get some transistors, and I think the most likely cause is going to be the ULA. I don't particularly want to be buying things just out of process of elimination. I'll see if I can find some other troubleshooting tips that can help me without having an oscilloscope. So just going back to basics, I thought I'd just at least check the power supply, which should be giving me around 14 volts. Which is 13 and a bit. It's a little bit low, but from what I've read, that wouldn't be a problem. And on load, to plug that in, I should be looking at about 11 volts, unless there's a short or something. And there we go. So I don't think there's a problem with the power supply, and I don't think there's a short on the board. So that's good. So, quick recap. Still not working, obviously. I think the most likely problem is it's going to be the ULA chip. I've checked the power supply. The power supply is good. The voltage drop when it's plugged in, turned on, drops down to 11. That's good. I've got 5 volts on the ICs where they should be and going to ground. I've tested the transistors as best as what I can, or what I believe I've done. There's no shorts on the transistors, which maybe there's other faults with transistors that can occur, but I don't think it's going to be those. Okay with the capacitors. I just think it's going to be the ULA. From reading up on it, it's the most common thing that fails. And then I Googled it, and you just can't get hold of these. And if you can, they're very, very expensive. I saw one seller selling them for £90 odd plus postage from Italy, which it's just not worth it. There is somebody out there that does VLA81, as they call the chip. It's a modern version that does the same job, but with lots more different options. But that's also including postage over £50. And I've got to ask myself, is it worth it if this is the problem? And is it definitely going to be the problem anyway? So I spend the money and maybe it's not that. So my next idea is I've got a fully working ZX81. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to desolder the ULA out of this one. I'm going to desolder the ULA out of my known good one. I've got some sockets on order from eBay, so I can socket these, make it easy to put them in and swap them round, rather than swap them over, solder them in, and then have to desolder them. Don't want to be doing that. So it's going to be I'm just going to have to wait for the sockets to come. But in the meantime, I thought, well, I might as well desolder the ULA now and get the board ready for the socket when it arrives. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll maybe see if I can fix the ribbon cable for the keyboard as well whilst I'm waiting, because that's another £19. I've just got to question the economics of it. It's I can pick up second-hand working units for £60 or so. Got to balance that up, haven't I? But right, let's get this chip off. So for you, it's been a matter of seconds. For me, it's been a few days. I've had to wait for, got some sockets ordered for the ULA. So I've just got it inserted now. Hopefully it won't fall out on me. We'll get this soldered in. So that's the socket on, nice and flush. This is a moment of truth, really. Let's fit the ULA. I'm quite apprehensive because if it is the ULA, then it's just not worth fixing, unfortunately, because to me, I can't justify spending that money. It's nice and steady. It's all lined up. Not quite. I think we're about there. Sorry. So I just realised just before I was about to plug it in that I'd actually put the original ULA back in, which I'm thinking is faulty. So I've just swapped that out. The original one's there. I've put the known good one on the board. Sorry about the really poor view. I couldn't get a decent angle, and I'm quite tired, if I'm honest. But let's plug it in. I think I'm on the right channel on the TV. So let's. Right. Well, that's a success. That's great. It just means that I think it's a donor board, as I can't afford, I can't justify anyway the expense of replacing that ULA, which is a real shame. So, quick summary. It's not an economical repair. The ULA chip, which has died on the newer board, I can't justify the £90 plus asking price that people ask for new old stock. And likewise, £50 for a re-engineered modern equivalent. It just pushes the cost up too much for me when there's other things I could spend my money on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the red motherboard that had the faulty ULA on it. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to use the ULA out of the old motherboard, which isn't in as good a condition, and I'll keep this board as a spares. And I think what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to treat the case to. I've got a new keyboard membrane. I'm going to treat it to that. It's not a big job. I'll get that sorted, and I'm also going to replace the voltage regulator as well for a modern, much more energy efficient equivalent, which should keep the heat down inside the machine and hopefully prolong its life a little bit more. I don't know how long that ULA is going to last in it, but it is what it is. Let me know in the comments what you'd have done. Would you have done things differently? I'm open to suggestions. Nothing's final, but I just can't justify that spend on ultimately having a second working machine. I think it's better for me to just keep it for parts. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Thank you.